Hi, I'm Christine.
I am Janelle.
For me, it's like a book genre.
How do you mean?
Well, some people are really into romance novels, right? Other like horror or sci-fi or dramatic movies.
Yeah, and some people only read genre forever, like their loyalty.
Exactly. And others try different things throughout their life, but it doesn't mean they're confused. Maybe they're just exploring.
Parang sexuality din.
Tama, and there is no other genre that could be used as normal compared to the other. Diba? Some people kasi act like there's only one normal choice, and that's not right.
Yeah, imagine if someone said only mystery novels are allowed. I'd be like, no thanks.
Or, you like fantasy when you were 13. Why are you reading drama now?
Growth best. Character development.
Uy, kulog tayo with an expert?
Sige nga, tingnan natin.
Hi, I'm an anthropologist. Sexuality is one of the most fundamental parts of the human life. However, it is often misunderstood. In most cases, it is seen as only something that regards physical attraction. But here in anthropology, we study sexuality beyond it. We see it as a mix of biological drives, personal identity, cultural factors or adaptations, or even political forces. Sexuality in every culture or in every society has its different meaning. In the ancient times, in the ancient Greece, let's say relationships between older and younger men were seen as something educational or honorable. Here in the Philippines, spiritual leaders or babaylans are not gender fluid. These are people that are often placed on high respect during these times. So now when we study about sexuality, it goes beyond what I have mentioned earlier. It is as diverse as humanity itself.
Our school doesn't allow boys to wear earrings, but girls can wear them.
Yeah, because rules change depending on who you are.
So if I wear this, it's a big deal. But if you do, it's normal?
Exactly, and same things goes for sexuality. Sexual orientation is like colors. Some people are only drawn to red.
And some are only drawn to blue.
Others feel attracted to more than one color too.
And some, they see beauty in other colors, not just one.
While others might not feel any pull to one color at all, and that's valid.
So when we talk about sexual orientation, it's really about preference, attraction, and how each person experiences it differently. Like these colors.
So are we still talking about colors or other things? How about let's watch the anthropologist once again to know its explanation?
Sure.
Sexuality doesn't exist in a vacuum. In fact, it is not as rigid as we all think it is. In some societies or communities, let's say marriage between men and women are the only acceptable bonds. However, in other societies, that is, let's say, less known or even in more common societies, these are accepted and even celebrated. Now we have these things called sexual orientation, which refers to how one person is attracted towards the same sex, the opposite, or even towards no one at all. So we have different types of societies, or we have different communities that gives label to these sexual orientations. May it be on how they are ruled out, how they are respected and valued, or even how they are stigmatized. In some societies, there are clear labels for these sexual orientations, such as lesbian, gay, or even bisexual. However, in other communities, same-sex relationships, or let's say gender fluidity, is celebrated and accepted, even without having a name for it. Now for the different types of sexual orientation, which are these terms are the most commonly accepted worldwide. So we have the heterosexuals, which refers to one sex being attracted towards the opposite sex. Example, a man towards a woman. Then we have the homosexuals, or homosexuality, which refers to being attracted towards the same sex. Then we have the bisexuals, which is people that are attracted to both the opposite and the same sex. Then we have the pansexuals that regardless of the gender identity, they are attracted to. Then lastly, we have the asexuals who feel little to no attraction towards anybody at all.
That is truly right. You know, this anthropologist knows a lot.
I'll follow his channel later.
Later! Well, of course. You know, when I was in high school, I actually have the longest crush on this boy. But later on, I actually realized that I actually also like girls.
Or someone says, I'll never fall for older people, but falls for Tito or Ate vibe.
Exactly. You know, it doesn't really mean that we are confused or I was confused. You know, sexuality can be fluid.
Same person, different times, and different vibes.
How about let's watch the anthropologist once again.
Sure.
Sexuality or gender is never permanent throughout a person's life. In fact, in every time period in a person's life, it could change. This is what we call fluidity. Fluidity refers to the change of the sexual orientation, or let's say the gender identity of a person throughout their lifespan. These are affected through a person's experiences, relationships, or even cultural environment. Regardless, any factor could be one of the reasons why a person may change or may feel a slightly different perspective towards their sexual orientation. Research in psychology and anthropology shows that fluidity is actually more common than how humans think. Let's put it this way. In a person's lifespan, there are reported cases that in some years during their development as a person, they feel like their gender identity or sexual orientation has actually shifted. Thus, it should not be stigmatized and should be accepted as normal because everybody undergoes these phases throughout their life. The key point here is respect. By knowing or respecting the fluidity of a person, we do not impose to them rigid criteria of how they should live their lives regarding which is right or which is wrong. Sexuality and gender orientation must be accepted, must be embraced. Just like humanity itself, it is unique, it is flexible, and it is personal. Once again, Sexuality is as human itself. It is unique, flexible, and deeply personal.
Well, sexuality for me, I realized that it is part of me. It is who I am, my identity, my choice.
It's natural, diverse, and personal.
And it is something that everyone deserves to understand.
And respect.